The moment Empress ZYX'Vorra's holographic projection appeared over every major city on Earth, the humans reacted in exactly the way our intelligence had predicted: complete and utter chaos. Some fled, some prayed, some took selfies with her imposing 300-foot image looming overhead. I, diplomatic observer Kraz 9, watched from our cloaked mothership as her violet eyes narrowed in what I recognized as mild disappointment. The Empress had expected more. After all, we'd conquered 16 planetary systems before Earth. Usually by this point, the indigenous species was organizing some kind of unified resistance, or at least attempting to communicate. People of Earth. Her voice boomed across continents, translated into 94 languages simultaneously. Your planet is now under the protection and authority of the Galactic hegemony. Surrender your governments and military forces within one planetary rotation, or face immediate consequences. This is not a negotiation. As chief anthropological analyst for the invasion, I winced. The Empress had once again ignored my cultural briefing. Humans didn't respond well to direct threats. It tended to unify them against common enemies. I'd suggested a more gradual approach, perhaps offering technological advancements first, then slowly assuming control over planetary affairs. But Empress ZYX'Vorra hadn't conquered a third of the galaxy by being patient. "Commander Drax," she snapped, her hologram disappearing from Earth's skies as she turned to address her military leader on our bridge. "Prepare the intimidation display. Destroy one uninhabited geographical feature." Commander Drax, all 8 feet of armored menace, bowed deeply. "The small polar ice cap, perhaps? It's already melting. They barely use it. Acceptable." She nodded, then turned to me. "Observer Kraz 9, your assessment of their likely response?" I hesitated, a secondary heart palpitating with stress. "They will resist, your magnificence. Humans are unpredictable. Our probes indicate they currently possess 12,000 nuclear weapons, numerous biological agents, and several experimental technologies we haven't fully analyzed." She laughed, a sound like crystals shattering. "And we possess a fleet that could turn their planet to ash. Do continue monitoring their communications. I wish to be entertained by their panic." I bowed and returned to my monitoring station, where thousands of human broadcasts, social media feeds, and government communications flowed across my screens. What I saw wasn't matching our invasion playbook at all. Yes, there was fear. Yes, there was chaos. But there was also something else. "Your magnificence," I called out uncertainly. "You may want to see this." The Empress glided to my station. On my primary view screen, a human news network showed crowds in the streets, not running in terror, but laughing. Some held signs hastily painted with messages like, "Welcome alien overlords," and "We'll trade cats for spaceships." "What is this?" she hissed. "It appears to be humor, your magnificence. Coping mechanism. They mock us." Her voice dropped to a dangerous whisper. "Not exactly. They are processing our arrival through cultural references. Many humans are comparing us to entertainment narratives they have created about alien invasions." The Empress's facial tentacles curled in disgust. "Destroy the ice cap. Now." Within minutes, our primary weapon, a concentrated gravity beam, had shattered Earth's North Pole, sending massive icebergs crashing into the Arctic Ocean. "Now we wait," she said, returning to her command throne, though we didn't wait long. Exactly 3 hours after the demonstration of force, a transmission request came through on all our communication channels simultaneously. "Your Magnificence, the humans wish to speak with you. Announce communications, Officer Trex. Display them." She commanded. The human appeared on our main view screen, female, middle-aged by their standards, with dark skin and close-cropped silver hair. She wore what appeared to be formal attire, a simple blue suit. "I am Dr. Olivia Jackson, hastily elected representative of Earth's United Response Team," she said calmly. "To whom am I speaking?" The Empress rose from her throne, her ceremonial armor glinting under the ship's lights. "I am Empress ZYX'Vorra, supreme ruler of the Galactic hegemony, conqueror of the 3 spiral arms, destroyer of the Plutonian rebellion, and yes, thank you," the human interrupted. "I'm afraid we are working under significant time constraints here. About your demand for our surrender." Even Commander Drax looked shocked at the interruption. No one interrupted the Empress. You wish to discuss terms. ZYX'Vorra recovered quickly, amusement in her voice. There are none. Submit or be destroyed. Dr. Jackson smiled, a disconcerting expression given the circumstances. Actually, we'd like to propose an alternative. We have prepared a formal response to your demand. If you'd be willing to receive a small delegation, we could present in person. The Empress looked to her military commander, who nodded slightly. We detect no weaponry capable of threatening us. This could provide valuable intelligence. Very well, the Empress declared. You may send 3 representatives to these coordinates. She gestured, and Officer Trex transmitted the location of a small clearing in a place the humans called Switzerland. Thank you. We will arrive in 1 hour, Dr. Jackson said, and the transmission ended. Your Magnificence, I ventured, this is highly unusual behavior for a species facing conquest. Explain, she commanded. In all previous encounters, the initial response was either immediate surrender or immediate military action. The humans appear to be stalling. Her eyes narrowed. For what purpose? Unknown, I admitted, but I recommend extreme caution. The Empress laughed. They have seen our power. What could they possibly do? 1 hour later, we watched through surveillance drones as a small aircraft landed at the designated coordinates. 3 humans emerged. Dr. Jackson, an older male with pale skin and a white beard, and a younger male with coppery skin and an unusual pendant around his neck, that a transport beam delivered Commander Drax, myself, and the Empress herself to the surface against all security protocols. But ZYX'Vorra had always enjoyed the theatrical aspects of conquest. Empress, Dr. Jackson nodded respectfully as we materialized. Thank you for meeting with us. This is Professor Anton Petrov, our leading physicist, and Dr. Raj Patel, cultural anthropologist. The physicists seemed transfixed by our appearance, particularly the Empress's translucent exoskeleton and bioluminescent organs visible beneath. The anthropologist was busy taking notes on a small device. You have 10 minutes to present your response, the Empress stated flatly to Dr. Jackson nodded. Of course. Professor Petrov. The older human stepped forward, carrying a small metallic cube. Empress, we understand that your civilization is far more advanced than ours. Your faster-than-light travel alone represents technology we have only theorized about. Yet you have missed something fundamental about Earth and humans, Dr. Patel added. Commander Drax shifted impatiently. If this is some appeal to emotion or morality, not at all, Professor Petrov said. It's physics. May I demonstrate? The Empress nodded once. Petrov placed the metallic cube on the ground. This device contains a simple quantum oscillator. Nothing dangerous, I assure you. He pressed something on the cube, and it began to emit a soft blue glow. Immediately, my sensory implants detected an unusual energy pattern, nothing harmful, but peculiar. What you are observing, Petrov explained, is a resonance effect unique to Earth's location in space-time. We discovered it only 15 years ago. We call it the Fibonacci sequence anomaly. The Empress looked bored. This demonstration has what purpose? Dr. Jackson took over. When we detected your ships entering our solar system 3 days ago, we began emergency testing to confirm our theory. You see, Earth exists at a unique focal point of quantum dimensional overlap. My tertiary brain processed this information rapidly. It was either complete nonsense or terrifyingly significant. In simple terms, Professor Petrov continued, certain quantum frequencies triggered within Earth's specific gravitational profile create a cascading effect through subspace, like ripples in water, but through the fabric of reality itself. The cube's glow intensified slightly. Observer, the Empress turned to me, analyzed their device. I examined my readings. It appears to be generating a harmless quantum field, Your Magnificence. But I'm detecting unusual patterns in the surrounding space-time fabric. The point, Dr. Jackson said firmly, is that we cannot surrender Earth to you, because doing so would be catastrophic not just for us, but for you and potentially a significant portion of the galaxy. The Empress's facial tentacles twitched with skepticism. You expect me to believe your insignificant planet holds some cosmic importance. Not importance, Dr. Patel corrected. Just an unfortunate cosmic coincidence. If certain technologies, like for instance your gravity weapons, are used at full capacity on Earth, The resonance effect would trigger a subspace rupture that would expand outward at faster-than-light speeds. Professor Petrov nodded gravely. We call it the butterfly singularity. Once triggered, it would create a bubble of altered physics that would expand to consume approximately 40 light-years of space within one standard year. For the first time, I saw uncertainty in the Empress's expression. Commander Drax, verify their claims. The commander deployed a series of sensors from his armor. After several tense moments, he reported, "There are anomalous readings, Your Magnificence. I cannot confirm their specific claims, but Earth does exhibit unusual quantum characteristics I haven't encountered before." The Empress turned back to the humans. "And this prevents your surrender how? Exactly?" Dr. Jackson smiled again, that same disconcerting expression. "Because Earth requires constant management of these quantum forces. Our surrender would mean your occupation, which would mean your technologies operating here, which would almost certainly trigger the butterfly singularity within months. We have prepared a comprehensive data package," Dr. Patel added, holding out a small crystal storage device. "All our research, observations, and mathematical models. Your scientists can verify everything." I accepted the device cautiously. "So," the Empress said slowly, "you claim that conquering your planet would lead to a disaster that would threaten my empire?" "Precisely," Dr. Jackson nodded. "We are not refusing to surrender out of pride or defiance. We are refusing to prevent a catastrophe, and we should believe you why." Commander Drax demanded. Professor Petrov shrugged. "Verify our data, or don't. Test our claims with a full-power weapons discharge. But I'd recommend doing so from at least 50 light-years away, just to be safe." The three humans stood calmly, waiting. They didn't appear to be bluffing. Either they were telling the truth, or they were executing the most elaborate deception I'd ever encountered. "We will withdraw temporarily while we analyze your data," the Empress finally declared. "Do not mistake this for acceptance of your claims." Dr. Jackson bowed slightly. "Of course not. We will await your response." Back aboard the mothership, I coordinated a team of our best quantum physicists to examine the human data. The information was troubling. "Your Magnificence," I reported 6 hours later, "preliminary analysis suggests the humans may be correct. We have detected quantum anomalies consistent with their Fibonacci sequence theory. Further testing would be required to confirm fully, but such testing might trigger the very phenomenon they describe," she finished for me. "Correct." The Empress paced the command deck, her footsteps unnaturally loud in the silence. "Options, Commander Drax?" The military leader looked uncomfortable. "We could withdraw and classify Earth as a quarantine zone, or proceed with conquest using only conventional weapons, avoiding quantum or gravitational technologies, and risk universal annihilation if the humans are correct." "No." She stopped pacing. "Observer Kraz 9, what have you learned about humanity that might be relevant now?" Swallowed nervously. "They are remarkably adaptable, Your Magnificence, and they exhibit a trait our xenopsychologists call creative problem solving to an unusual degree, meaning they find unexpected solutions. They also demonstrate a strong tendency toward negotiation and compromise far more than any species we have previously encountered." Her eyes narrowed. "You are suggesting, perhaps, an arrangement could be reached. Not conquest, but alliance." Commander Drax scoffed. "Alliance? With a pre-FTL civilization? A specialized relationship?" I clarified. "Earth remains autonomous, but provides certain resources or services to the hegemony in exchange for protection and limited technology sharing." The Empress was silent for a long moment. Summoned the human representatives again. 3 hours later, Dr. Jackson, Professor Petrov, and Dr. Patel stood once more before the Empress, this time in our ship's conference chamber. "We have reviewed your data," ZYX'Vorra announced without preamble. "While we cannot fully verify your claims without dangerous testing, we find sufficient evidence to treat your warnings seriously." "Thank you," Dr. Jackson replied. "We hoped you would." "However," the Empress continued, "this leaves us at an impasse. I cannot conquer your world, yet I cannot return to the hegemony having failed to add Earth to our territories." Professor Petrov raised an eyebrow. "Political considerations?" "Indeed. The Hegemony Council would see it as weakness." Dr. Jackson nodded thoughtfully. Perhaps we could offer an alternative that satisfies your political needs while preserving Earth's autonomy. The Empress tilted her head. I'm listening. A formal alliance, Jackson proposed. Earth acknowledges the hegemony's protection and provides certain resources in exchange for limited technological exchange. Publicly, you could present it as having subjugated Earth through diplomacy rather than force a more elegant conquest. What resources could your primitive world possibly offer us? Commander Drax asked skeptically. Dr. Patel smiled. Culture, for one. Art, music, literature, cuisine. We have monitored your communication signals. The hegemony has achieved remarkable technological advancement, but appears to have cultural homogeneity across its conquered worlds. I nodded involuntarily. This was true, though we rarely discussed it. The hegemony imposed not just political control, but cultural uniformity. And beyond that, Jackson added, there's our unique problem-solving abilities. Based on your approach to conquest, I suspect your civilization values efficiency and hierarchy. Humans excel at creative thinking outside established parameters. We could be valuable consultants. Consultants, the Empress repeated, as if tasting the strange word. Consider it a pilot program, Jackson suggested. A 5-year trial alliance. If it proves unsatisfactory, you can always come back with your fleet. I found myself impressed by the human's negotiating skills. She was offering ZYX'Vorra a face-saving compromise while buying Earth time. The Empress was silent for several minutes, her facial tentacles pulsing with thought. Finally, she spoke. I propose the following terms. Earth acknowledges the hegemony's supremacy in formal declarations. You will establish an embassy on your planet for our representatives. You will provide cultural exports and consulting services as discussed. In exchange, we will not deploy weapons against Earth, and we will provide limited medical and agricultural technology transfers. That seems reasonable, Dr. Jackson nodded. But we would need to add a clause establishing Earth's internal autonomy and a non-interference agreement regarding our development. More terms were discussed, debated, and refined over the next 2 hours. I was astounded by the detailed knowledge the humans had prepared regarding interplanetary relations, almost as if they'd been expecting this encounter. Finally, a preliminary agreement was reached. The Empress would return to the hegemony capital with news of Earth's diplomatic conquest and a unique arrangement necessitated by the planet's quantum peculiarities. A formal treaty would be prepared within one standard lunar cycle. The human delegation prepared to return to Earth. I escorted them to the transport bay. A question, if I may, I said quietly to Dr. Jackson when the others were out of earshot. The quantum anomaly. It's not nearly as dangerous as you implied, is it? She met my gaze steadily. What makes you say that? Your demeanor during negotiations. You were too comfortable, too prepared. In our preliminary analysis to show anomalies, yes, but not necessarily with the catastrophic potential you described. A slight smile crossed her face. What would you have done in our position? Observer Kraz 9. A technologically superior force arrives demanding surrender. We had limited options, so you bluff. Let's just say we emphasized certain theoretical possibilities. The quantum anomalies are real, we just don't know exactly what would happen if they were disturbed. Wouldn't it be better for everyone if we never had to find out? I found myself respecting the human's tactical thinking. The Empress will eventually realize this. Perhaps. By then, we hope to have proven our value as allies rather than subjects. She extended her hand, a human gesture of agreement. We have studied your transmissions too, observer. The hegemony needs what Earth can offer, even if you don't recognize it yet. Cautiously, I extended my primary appendage and completed the gesture. Until our next meeting, she said. Indeed. As their transport departed, I returned to the command deck, where the Empress was already planning how to present this unexpected development to the Hegemony Council. Observer, she called to me, your assessment of these negotiations? I consider my response carefully. Unexpected, but potentially advantageous, your magnificence. The humans demonstrated remarkable adaptability. Yes, she mused. Most species either fight or surrender. They negotiated. Her primary tentacles curled thoughtfully. Monitor their planet closely. I suspect they weren't entirely truthful about this quantum anomaly. And if they weren't, her compound eyes glittered. Then they have proven themselves more valuable than we initially thought. creative deception to achieve survival. That's a trait the hegemony could utilize. Commander Drax looked disturbed. You are impressed by their dishonesty? I'm impressed by their effectiveness, she corrected him. 16 worlds conquered, and not one tried diplomacy instead of weapons. It's refreshing. As our mothership broke orbit and prepared for the journey home, I took one last look at the blue-green planet on our view screens. The humans had done something unprecedented. They turned an invasion into a negotiation. Prepare a special report for my review only. The Empress instructed me quietly as Commander Drax busied himself with departure preparations. I want to know everything about these humans, their art, their politics, their thinking patterns. If one small planet of primitives can outmaneuver us diplomatically, imagine what we could learn from them. I bowed deeply. As you command, Your Magnificence. 6 standard months later, the formal treaty between Earth and the Galactic hegemony was ratified. The propaganda within hegemony space declared a great victory, another world added to our glorious empire through the wisdom and power of Empress ZYX'Vorra. The reality, of course, was more complex. Earth remained functionally independent while gaining protection from other potential cosmic threats. The hegemony gained a unique partner and an influx of cultural ideas that were already creating ripples through our somewhat stagnant society. And as for me, I requested permanent assignment as chief liaison to Earth. The Empress approved with a knowing look. She understood what I had realized during those first negotiations. Sometimes the most valuable conquests aren't conquests at all. The humans had a saying that Dr. Jackson shared with me during one of our cultural exchange sessions. The best victory is the one where you never have to fire a shot. As I settled into my new office in the Hegemony Embassy in a place called Geneva, watching snowfall in the mountains where we'd first met the human delegation, I couldn't help but wonder who had really conquered whom. The Empress had demanded Earth's surrender. What she got instead was perhaps the first true ally the hegemony had ever known. And that, as I noted in my final report to ZYX'Vorra, might prove more valuable than 1,000 conquered worlds.